What's going on? It's Monday afternoon. It's 1 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time, 1300 for all you military folk out there. And we got a special Monday afternoon edition because my boy Leo, straight from France, is coming live. And me and him are going to talk a little MMA, a little current events, and maybe a little spotlight on some forgotten legends. Here we go. Let's bring in Leo right now. What's up, Leo? Woo!
Hi.
Yo, it's been a long time, brother. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm very good. Yeah. Thank you very much. What about you?
Oh, dude, I'm one of the busiest people you've ever talked to in your entire life, and I'm
I
only
know.
just saying that because I feel like I'm busy as fuck all the time. But what's up, Susan? Hello, and Susan says hello to you,
Oh, hello.
Leo.
Oh yeah, I have the
Ma-
comments there. Yeah. Hello,
Yeah, make
Susan.
sure you guys are liking and sharing, share the shit out of this to all the pages because honestly, I don't know how many people are going to be paying attention to me and Leo talking some MMA like we love to do at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday, but we're gonna fucking do it anyway. Um, I have recently become the first sergeant in my company, so I'm in charge of 240 something people now, and it's a nonstop fun time, dude. I'm like everybody's dad now, so that's why I say I'm always busy.
Congratulations, man. That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you. And on top of that, I'm running me and Mike are running 2 shows a week. We're pulling a bunch of guests. Pulling those guests takes a lot of time and effort in making contacts and reaching out to people. So it's like my wife worries about the lack of sleep that I have, but you know what I mean? We'll sleep when we make it.
Coffee.
Uh, yeah. The coffee is the nectar of the gods. What about yourself, Leo? Tell us what you've been up to. We haven't talked to you on the show in a couple months now.
Same old these music and MMA. I still follow around, and yeah, everything's good. Everything's quiet. COVID is
COVID.
getting beat back, so yeah.
Yeah, what is it like over there in France right now as far as COVID restrictions and all that stuff goes? Because before I let you answer, I'll tell you right now that it's kind of lightened up in the United States. A lot of people, a large percentage of people have gotten the vaccine, so they've lightened up on like mask restrictions and large crowds. What's it
Yeah.
like for you guys over there?
So the story is we are the biggest vaccine country in Europe, from what I heard. So yeah, we have less restrictions than some other countries. Maybe because we have less cases as well. For example, Austria is having a lot of cases, so they have put back the whole restriction program and everything. From what I can tell, apparently they in my region, but it's a regional thing. They put back the masks outside in the streets, in the outside. Just,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Wait a minute.
um,
They're making you guys wear masks outside in the streets? Stupid.
I
Get the
know, I
fuck
know,
out
I
of
know.
here.
Man, it's the stupidest government in Europe is the French one. Man. You can't imagine. I don't say anything about that, but really, yeah, fuck's sake. I don't wear the mask outside. I'm not dumb. Like,
You're not one of
come
those freaks.
on. I mean, in
Uh,
a shop, yes, but not in the outside.
well, I can tell you right now, dude, that it's lightened up over here. Everyone's getting their shots, and thank God for that shit. And venues are opening up, and like me and Mike have been traveling to events, and crowds are getting larger. We just went to one up in New York that they were kind of stupid about. So the fights were in a casino. On the casino floor, in any of the bars, in any of the restaurants, and on the gambling floor, sitting at a blackjack table, standing at a craps table, you don't have to wear a mask. Where you did have to wear a mask is when you enter the arena area around like the food and like t-shirt vendors and like bathrooms. Once you entered the arena, you could take them off again. I'm like, so you guys as a casino here are enforcing the fucking masks from the entry here to the entry of the arena, and that's all? Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. You fucking morons.
It's just to make believe people that they're doing something. They need the attention. Look,
Yeah,
we're doing something.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just sharing the shit out of this to a bunch of
Yeah,
pages
no
right now,
worries, no worries.
so we can
Sorry,
get.
I can't share myself because I'm still zooked.
Yeah. Hey, so So this past weekend, there was no UFC, there was no Bellator that I can remember. I don't remember if there was a Bellator this weekend, but there was a couple events. There was the Teofimo Lopez boxing match that went on that Lopez lost, by the way, which a lot of people were surprised by that. But the big story of the weekend was Triller's Triad Combat. Did you take a look at it? Did you peek at it? What do you know about it, Leo? Because I have some really big opinions on it, and I want to just talk about that a little bit. So go ahead and what did you think about it?
I picked at it, and to be fair, compared to the other some of the shit shows that they could do, Thriller, because they did some really bad ones. They did some really bad stuff. And while that spending shit ton of money and losing, I think, a bunch. But this one was interesting because I like those boxing versus MMA cards, and that was one of those. Even the undercard was a bunch of MMA fighters, some of them more famous than others. The three main interesting ones were, of course, the Mike Perry fight versus Michael Seals, Alexander Flores versus Matt Mitrione, that I didn't saw. Actually, I know that Matt Mitrione lost by UD, but I don't know how competitive he was. And Pulyev knocked out Frank Mir on
Oh
his
yeah,
feet, and that was wow, that was nasty.
it was nasty. And dude, I'll tell you right now. So what they were like really, they were pushing it as MMA versus boxing. Team Shannon Briggs and his boxers against Team Rampage and a bunch of MMA fighters. And they did a decent job matching guys up. You had Derek Campos, who put on a really nice fight with Brian Vera. You had Mike Perry. Mike Perry, I don't know. I don't know if people thought that the split decision was controversial because he got knocked down in the fourth, but Mike Perry had a really great showing. He put on a really good show, and he took a fucking shot. He showed his toughness, and he pulled out a victory for MMA. The one that made no sense to me as a combat sports guy, and you'll probably agree with this, was the Pulev versus Frank Mir.
Yeah,
The matching of that
the
fight made
matchmaking was bad. Yeah,
no
yeah,
fucking sense because for those who don't know, Pulev he's 28-2 in his career. He's a
yeah.
legit title contender heavyweight boxer. And
And
his
one of those defeats is his last fight against Anthony Joshua,
yes, and the other
and it
one,
was
Vladimir Klitschko.
yeah,
He's only
yeah.
lost 2 times in his career against 2 of the best in the world at the time, and they're gonna put him in there against, chubby, slow Frank Mir, and we'll talk more about Mir later because I love that guy, and I think he's a legend,
Yeah.
and the fact that he got tossed in there, the Triller guys use Frank Mir's big name to pull numbers, which is smart. It's a business move, but they threw him in there against a legit fucking killer heavyweight
The
boxer.
thing about that is that first of all, I didn't knew that Frank Mir name still had that much money behind it, still today. So I was surprised that they would do a main event with him. That's interesting. And the other thing is, Frank Mir isn't like Ben Askren. He got some hands, but the problem is the level of Puliev. Like his last fight, Frank Mir, he fought during the Jake Paul card,
Mhm.
and he got beaten. But I can't remember
Yeah, you
this
know what?
guy
I
was.
can't even remember the duty boxed either, and he got pieced up in that one.
He got pissed, but the guy was a professional boxer as well, like a legit guy. But I can't remember his name. But so that was a tough one. That was a tough one for me. So
What I
who's the
thought,
matchmaker? Like
I
just
don't
this
know
guy.
who the matchmakers are. I don't know all the details about Triller and Triad Combat. I do like the concept, and I'm going to tell you why. The rule set is a really awesome combination of like boxing and MMA, whereas just like in bare knuckle, you're allowed to fight in the clinch
Hmm.
as long as you stay active. Um, you could fight in the clinch. The gloves are fingerless, like MMA type gloves. So it's boxing rules with MMA gloves, basically dirty boxing bare knuckle rules. No kicks, no knees, no elbows, but you can throw spinning back fists. You can throw Superman punches, which is fucking I think
That's
that's so
awesome.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool. One thing that Sean Wheelock put out a good video with the rule set for Triad Combat. When you're in the clinch, you're not allowed to foot stomp like in MMA, But what you can do is plant your foot on top of the other guy's foot. So if you have an overhook on an arm, right, and you're dirty boxing and you step on your opponent's foot, you could just stay on it and keep working in the clinch. I thought that was a cool little rule that they put in there. What's up, Tony
That's
Loco
funny. Yeah.
Soto? DJ Tony, what's up? Ben Stepanoff, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, guys, on this Monday afternoon. We're talking Triad Combat Sports with Leo live from fucking France. Our guy from the other side. Yeah. So, what did you know anything about those rules? Like, I think it's such a cool.
I didn't know you could like put your feet on somebody's. Yeah, I knew it was like an open boxing, traditional boxing standards term, but I didn't know you could do something like that. That's weird, but it's fun. Like, yeah, why not? And you wouldn't want to put knees and stuff. Even if for the MMA guys, it would be a big advantage if you could like at least authorize the knees to the belly or something like that. You know, some kind of rule
Right.
like that.
Yeah, but I mean that just turns into kickboxing at that point. But
It does kickboxing. It does kickboxing. That's why you don't want to do that.
right.
But
I think the rule set's really cool.
yeah.
The triangle ring is a gimmick, but it's a catchy gimmick. And what it does, it's meant to keep the action, like it's meant to force the action. There's really nowhere to run in a triangle ring. There's, you're in a corner no matter where you go. The big thing about Triller and combat and Triad Combat is the money behind it and the production value. One thing that these guys are doing is really dumping some money into the production value itself. They're getting big name musical acts. They're getting big name MMA fighters that are coming out, coming off
as well.
Snoop Dogg. They got Sean Wheelock. Like I said, Sean Wheelock is BKFC's voice, and he's doing Triller events. They're really doing it. And when Mike Perry's salary was released, this is like a huge, red flag for UFC and BKFC, unless, and Mike and I were talking about this, unless BKFC is somehow in bed with these guys, because Mike Perry signed with the BKFC, he's over there. Sean Wheelock is the voice of BKFC, he's over there. There's certain Frank Mir had dealings with the BKFC, he's over in Triller.
Yeah.
So maybe they're all working together. I don't know, but for a guy coming off of a UFC contract and saying, where can I go right now? I can go to Bellator, I can go to One, I can go to PFL, I can go take the gloves off and fight bare knuckle, or
AW even. Some of them go there.
Right. Or I could go to fucking Triller.
Triller, yeah. I even like some people I think are a bit tentative to go to BKFC because they don't want to get open too much, cuts and stuff like that. Maybe Triller, it's more boxing in their mind. It's more easy money. But there's something about that. But if they fight YouTubers and stuff or MMA guys, I mean, that goes to boxing in Triller. Those guys, if they if they go to Triller and fight YouTubers, it's good. They make easy money, or they don't lose, or they like Tyrone Woodley, they lose.
Yeah.
But when they fight like professional boxer like Frank Mir did, that's tough. I think we're gonna get used to see a lot of our older former MMA guys goes to Triller and get faced with tough boxer, and most of them will lose, I think, because I mean, you got to face it. Boxers are better at boxing most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But it does. Yeah, you're right. And then you get to see all these guys who we love to see in the octagon for all these years, going over there and just taking L's that they don't deserve to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would prefer to see them fighting Nate Robinson, the basketball guy, or people like that.
Yeah. But it does, dude. It gives like this Triad Combat. So like a guy, say Robbie Lawler or Cowboy Cerrone or Carlos Condit or one of these guys or Tyron Woodley that are their UFC career. Tyron's done, but the rest of them are like getting close to the end. I don't know if Condit retired or not, but this is a perfect place for those guys that have big enough names to draw a $250,000 paycheck like Mike Perry and possibly pull off a win without having to take the gloves all the way off and get chopped up in a bare knuckle ring.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. And they make decent money. But we saw many times in history companies like spending so much money, having these stars like Affliction, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they put too much money in
They
right
put too
away.
much money, and because they must get this money from somewhere. It's not like, at least it must be in an offshore bank account somewhere in the Caribs.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I would, if I had to grade it, I would say it was a solid B. I don't know, like, I don't think it was a bad. I didn't watch the entire event. I watched 3 or 4 of the fights. I watched I like to skim through and, like, look for production value, and like I said, even all their boxing events have been put on really well. I'm not the hugest fan about having a concert in the middle of a fucking event,
Yeah,
but
especially if you don't like the music. You got to watch fucking Justin Bieber, and I'm like, oh no! So I just shut down the sound on the stream.
Michael Hanowski in the comments says, "If a bag of cocaine started a combat sports promotion, that's Triller." Yeah, it's a goddamn party. You're right. A huge
That's
party.
golden.
It's a huge party, but it's a huge party sitting on a pile of money, paying their fighters really well, and like I can't hate what they're doing, man.
Matt
We
Brown.
Matt Brown, yeah. How many fights? Matt Brown had already retired once from the UFC a couple of years ago. He made his comeback. He's looked good since he's been back. But I'll tell you right now, Matt Brown. I would love to see Matt Brown in the BKFC with no gloves on. But he's a perfect guy for. He doesn't have a big enough name to like headline a Triad Combat event, but
Yeah.
he could co-main or do what Mike Perry did and become like a feature bout on a Triad Combat and put on a nice show, for sure.
But a big part of Matt Brown's game is on the ground as well, on the wrestling.
Also his
And
elbows. He has
and his
nasty elbows.
elbows and stuff. So that's taking a lot away from him. Just putting him into boxing. And about Matt Brown, he might be retiring. I don't know, because like he got COVID now,
No, did
and
he?
he was supposed to fight in one of those free next cards. I can't remember which one, and it was canceled because he got positive of COVID. So at his age, maybe he's 40 years old. Maybe he won't recover as well, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, the other guy, the other big name that you mentioned that was on there, he fought Alexander Flores, was Mike Mitrione, and
Matt Mitrione, I love Matt Mitrione,
yeah, Matt
former
Mitrione.
NFL player.
Yeah, and a good fighter too, and he's had some really good wins in his MMA career.
Mirko
He
Krokop, did he beat Mirko? I think he
I,
did.
I don't know, I can't remember. He beat Fedor.
He beat Fedor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of good wins, but he looked from what I saw, he looked confused, like
Oh,
he wasn't quite. Hey, do you have a turn your volume down a little bit? I don't know. I'm hearing an echo.
oh, sorry. Don't know how to do that because it's my headset. I'm gonna just plug it in.
You good? Leo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Is this
Yeah, I can
better?
hear you. You're just a little quieter now.
Okay.
But Mitrione, like I was saying, Mitrione was the one guy that I was hoping would go in there and really show out and do something big with this Triad Combat. But he really looked like he was maybe confused on the rule sets at times in the clinch and what the hell he was supposed to do inside the ring, and just looked
Mm.
frustrated. So I would say
Was he
in
soundly beaten, or
what's that?
was he soundly beaten like by Flores, or was it?
No. It was. I mean, he lost, but it wasn't like it was a unanimous decision. But he hung in there, and I think just like working the clinch, he wasn't quite sure what the hell he was supposed to be doing, and coming off some of the breaks, he looked like he was pissed off. I don't know, but anyways, enough about Triad Combat Sports. I thought it was really cool. I'd give the event as a whole a B. I would give the matchmaking for that main event an F, and I would give Mike Perry an A minus for his performance. I would give him an A. I'd give him a solid A.
Yeah, he got
Mike
some
Perry
effort. This
Mike
guy.
Perry was the star of the night, I thought. He showed up. He put on a hell of a show, and he took a fucking massive. I think it was a left hand that knocked him down.
Yeah,
It looked like he was going to be fucking gone. The stoppage. Now people are you look at like some of the social media sites and everything that cover the sport, and they're talking about a controversial stop for Frank Mir's fight.
what? Who says
I
that?
I hope that they're saying it's controversial because
Oh
Dan
yeah, yes, they're saying
Mergliotta
that.
let him get hit too many times. I hope that's
Yes.
what they mean by controversial.
No, no, it's not. It's not. I don't think any fool will be fool enough to say something like that.
No, if
No, no.
anything, it should have been stopped sooner. He was out on his feet. He looked terrible, and it's not the image you want to see a guy like him, a
Yeah,
legend in the sport.
but
Just
then Mia Gliota got trashed for that. They say like
yeah,
he wanted to let him die or something like that. A lot of
yeah. His
trolling for
eyes
that.
were rolling around in his head. His head was bobbling. He was fucking. It was hard to watch
Yeah.
for a guy that we all like so much.
But why a guy like that goes to, if he wants to fight in MMA, at least you got the jiu-jitsu. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
We'll
his
talk.
key.
Yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit more in a little while. But there's a big
So
UFC card coming up. I mean, there's a UFC fight night coming up
yeah,
that
the font
like,
Aldo is good. Yeah, as well.
yeah,
I'm nuts about that. And the
the
okay, the card is amazing actually. The font Aldo card as a whole, sportively, it's great, just great. Every fight is freaking good. I must say, the matchmaker of the UFC at this moment, he's much better than the one in Triad.
which one I know which fight I really like on this card is Alfonso Menafield against William Knight. That one's gonna be
Oh,
that
yeah,
one is two big freaking monsters. That one could end really quick. And the reason why I'm really excited to watch that one, William Knight is from about an hour from here in Hartford, Connecticut. He's fought on a lot of local shows around here, and he used to fight at the Mohegan Sun right down the road from here. So I'm pretty interested in that one. He's a beast, but like you said, there's a bunch of really good fights on here.
they are two
But
monsters actually.
let's talk about the main event though. Who do you got in that one? Rob Font, Jose Aldo,
Aldo,
huh?
Aldo,
Aldo?
all day. Yeah, I mean I like Rob Font, but Aldo looks really good in his last fight, and I don't know, he's more physical. I think he might break him, like
What I
kill him.
said what I said about Aldo's last fight was that he looks like he's really settled in at that 135-pound weight class. Where at the beginning he was thrown straight into the fucking fire with Marlon Moraes and Peter Yan.
Mm. And he did
So
good.
he did, and then but he used to struggle to make 145. Now he looks like he's really settled in, and he beat Cheeto Vera, and he you know schooled Pedro Munoz. So I think I'm honestly going to have to agree with you on this one. I really like Rob Font. I love his boxing. I love the fact that he's a New England guy. He's right around me too. But he is fighting an absolute all-time legend. So
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he wins. Not like it's the biggest underdog ever, but like I'd be fairly surprised if he knocks out Aldo or something like that. If it
does
goes to
that
the decision, I don't think he wins. Font.
does that launch does the winner of this one get put right into a title fight against however they figure that whole fucking mess out with right now it's you got TJ Dillashaw, you got um Aljo,
Yeah,
Aljamain Sterling, and you got Peter Yan. They got to figure that whole thing out. But
yeah, that's complex. You got a lot of contenders, so yeah.
right, these two got to be the next guys right outside the door, right, knocking on those three. It's a three-way party on the inside, and then the one sitting right on the outside are Rob Font and Jose Aldo. I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if they would get a title fight directly. I doubt it. Maybe if it's Aldo, but I doubt if it's Font. I guess he will have to prove one more time.
I mean, I'm pulling up Rob Font. If he beats now, listen to this. If he beats Jose Aldo, Sergio
Depends how he
Pettis,
beats him.
dude, Sergio Pettis, Ricky Simone, Marlon Moraes, Cody Garbrandt, and then Jose Aldo. That's 5 in a row, all fucking badass dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think that's got to be
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you're right with that. You're right with that.
Yeah, and then
Well,
Aldo,
there's TJ as well in the way. What do they do with TJ?
TJ. I don't know, man. It's rough. Like, does the winner of this one fight TJ Dillashaw? Because I think that they got to have Aljo and Peter Yan settle their differences there for the interim, and they got to unify the belt. So
Yeah,
there you go.
if Aljo wants this fight, I mean, uh, he didn't like got injured again there recently. I saw.
Sterling.
Yeah,
Sterling is like, he's got such a bad aura around him right now. He's got such bad juju. Everybody fucking hates his ass because he basically like the acting job to win the title, and then posting the pictures of him celebrating right afterwards like he fucking just had this tremendous victory, and then he pulled out of a fight and he's injured, and now I don't know, man.
it's
It's just
yeah.
it's not good, and I just wonder how long the UFC allows him to sit out without fighting before they just take the title from him and let Peter Yan fight TJ Dillashaw to unify a title.
Yeah, that's he doesn't do like it's not all his fault. I guess this hate is like, but he doesn't help his case neither. And he's trolling a bit and he's playing
Yeah,
a bit with it and stuff. And
it's just not.
sometimes I'm thinking if he's really like super, like because last time I saw he replied on Instagram to a bot or something like that.
It's funny because when he fought Cody Sanhagen, Corey Sanhagen, Corey. I always get Corey and Cody Garbrandt, the two
Yeah,
names.
yeah,
Corey Sanhagen. When he fought Corey Sanhagen, dude, he fucking surprised everyone and put him out in the first round, right? He subbed him in the first round, made him look like he didn't belong in the ring with Aljo. And then Aljo goes in there and he's getting his ass fucking handed to him by Peter Yan, takes a illegal strike, and then goes for the Oscar, dude. I don't know. It's just like not a good look for him at all. I like Aljamain Sterling. I actually got to meet him up at Boston at the TD Garden one time, and me and Mike had a good conversation with him. And he's just a cool fucking down to earth guy. He's an
yeah. He
East
looks like
Coaster.
it. He
Yeah,
looks like it. I have no animosity towards him.
right.
I just laugh a bit because it's just
It's a laughable situation for sure. Susan Walker says, "Did you guys see a picture of Cody Garbrandt? Did you see the picture of him slim down to 125?
I
I wish
didn't.
I wish
He
I
looked
could pull.
horrible.
Uh, he looks like TJ Dillashaw did when he cut down to 125. He just looks like a sickly
Yeah, like
guy.
Connor in featherweights.
Yeah, that Connor 145 look. You know what I mean? It's a rough look, dude. And I don't know, man. I guess they're gonna freaking foist his ass right into a title fight at 125
Yeah.
because who else are they gonna have fight Davison Figueiredo? So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't like these massive weight cuts. I think that Cody probably walks around 155, 160, healthy. So the cut
Mm.
to 135 is enough. Now you're gonna fucking take 10 more off of that. Next thing you know, you're calling up the CEO for EPO, and you got to get some fucking, you got to get some of that JU ice in your system so you can cut them last couple pounds, right, TJ?
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
love TJ Dillashaw, though. That's for
I
sure.
love him. I love him. I mean, I
I
don't know
think he's
why
great.
some people hate some people that take steroids because they take steroids, and some people love other people that took steroids all the time and they even forget they took steroids. Like I don't Chelson and Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort. I mean, Vitor Belfort. Nobody forgets that he took steroids. A lot of those guys took steroids, and a lot of guys you wouldn't even think about were popped for EPO.
Dude,
So
fucking a lot of guys. Brian T. City Ortega popped hot for illegal
yeah,
substances,
no figure,
and
yeah.
nobody fucking cares about that. They all just love fucking baby blue eyes, fucking Brian T. City Ortega,
I
and they
find
just
that's
forget
really unfair. Like, why all this hate against
certain guys
Big
take.
Ben? You know, for example, Ben Rothwell. Everyone hates him, says he's a cheater because he. Josh Barnett.
Josh Barnett. And what was it? Was it Tim Sylvia that popped hot back in the day, and he said he just wanted to look good on a poster?
Yeah, that's right.
He said it had nothing to do with my performance in the ring.
Yeah, he said that.
Steroids did nothing for my performance. All I wanted to do was stop looking so fat on a fucking poster.
But all love for Tim Sylvia as well. He got tough times with his arm and stuff. So
Yeah. So, dude, the next event after that one is
just one thing about the last event
Right.
we are talking about. There's two fights that are to look about. Is Rafael Fiziev versus Brad Riddle,
Yeah.
and this one's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire, super close. And Clay Guida, Leonardo Santos for my own favorite veteran times. You know.
And anything with Clay Guida in it is a good one, and also Brad Riddle, dude. They, like both of those fights. Honestly, like you said, on the surface, when you just look at it, you're like, skim down it. A lot of people won't know a lot of names. You know what I
Jimmy Crute,
mean?
Jamah Hill.
Yeah.
Crazy fight.
You got Jake Matthews. Yeah, Jake Matthews. Like I
Jake
said,
Matthews,
you got no,
Alex
wait.
Morono, Mickey Gall.
You got Mickey Gall, Louis Smoke on there.
Luis
There's a
Smoka,
lot of well-known fighters on that card, so that's a good one.
Manuel
That's
Carp as well from Portugal, which is incredible as well. Tudorovic, that's
Yep.
one of the best prospects from the Balkans.
So that one will be on December 4th, which will be my 40th birthday, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Yeah. December 4th, 1981, your boy was born. Huh?
You're gonna skip the card then?
Nah, I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it somewhere. But yeah, following my birthday card, Dana White gave me Jose Aldo versus Rob Font for my birthday, and I appreciate you, sir.
Give you a call.
Yeah. I requested that one, so and he was like, what, it's your birthday, I'll fucking give it to you.
I personally requested Figueredo versus Brock Lesnar's return, and he didn't call me back for some reason.
No. He called you a goof and hung up the phone.
Yeah, he called me a cockhead.
Dude, the pay-per-view, UFC 269, it lost a big fight, which is very disappointing. Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal, we were finally going to get to see the result, the resolution, the ending to the 3-piece in a soda fucking saga. But of course, it got fucking ripped from our grasps again. So now we do have Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier. You got Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. You got Jeff Neal, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Kai Kara France, and Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt's going to make his debut at flyweight and see if he can get himself into a title fight with Figueiredo. I know that if he beats Kai Kara France, he's in a title fight. For sure.
Oh my, that's a tough fight. Like, they put him right in the fire. Kai Kara France is no joke,
dude. But you go ahead, you skim down there. You got freaking Sean O'Malley on the card. You got Dan Ige.
Yeah, right.
Dan Ige and Josh Emmett is going to be
Emmett.
Dude,
my gosh. Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz.
Dominic Cruz, Pedro. I'm telling you, this card is amazing. Augustus Sakai and Tai Tuivasa. Shuey man himself.
That's the first fight is two guys that I think both guys went into main events, no?
Which
I'm not
one?
sure if Tai Tuivasa went into a main event himself, but I know Augusto Sakai did.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's the first fight of the card, like, just to see how stacked it is.
Yeah, it's a really, really good card. Let's talk about the co-main and the main. Is the co-main, be honest, is it even competitive?
It's a gimme.
It's a gimme? You think so? And
oh my.
I fucking hate that, dude. And I really I don't know if I don't know if I'm just getting tired of Amanda Nunes. I really have. I've like her whole persona at the weigh-ins just annoys me. I don't know what it is. I don't know, and I don't really have a reason to hate her. I know. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what it is. The Amanda Nunes Valentina Shevchenko fights have pissed me off towards Amanda Nunes forever, and that second fight that Valentina Shevchenko was piecing her up that whole fight, won 3 out of 5, maybe even 4 out of 5 rounds in that fight. Never got another shot at Amanda Nunes after that one.
That's
Amanda Nunes
crazy.
is not interested.
It's
Now
not.
she
It's
is.
crazy.
It's crazy. Back when that happened, they should have ran that fucking thing back right away because that was a true MMA robbery right there. Valentina Shevchenko beat Amanda Nunes, and I'll say that till I fucking die. She didn't lose that
100%.
fight. And Amanda Nunes, after that fight, was like, she has to work her way, she's not interested in that fight again. I've already beat
Yeah,
her twice.
I
Why do I
couldn't
want to
say
fight
more,
her
man.
again?
And it went such to a point that I was rooting for German around me. I know,
when you're rooting for Jareen Randami, things have gotten bad.
yeah, really bad. I screamed when she rocked her with the yup kick. Oh
It's
god.
yeah. You
Yeah,
agree?
I don't know if Pena has some form of chance. I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
I I wonder what we can look it up. I wonder what the odds are right now on that. I bet she's a massive, massive underdog. And
It's
it's not
close
like
to
Juliana
800.
it's not like Juliana Pena's wrestling and jiu-jitsu is so good that like when she gets Amanda Nunes down to the mat, you know, she has a very good chance of beating Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes is still good on the mat too. So
She's gonna piece her.
so after this one, the UFC has no other choice but to have a 125 versus 135 title fight. I'm telling you,
They better
Valentina
do. Or
Shevchenko.
they might fight some other like miraculous newcomer girl that they will say, "Oh, look, she got all her chances and she will get wrecked."
Or Kayla Harrison, maybe, if they brought Kayla Harrison over from PFL into the UFC, give Kayla Harrison 1 or 2 fights and then throw her
Or
in there with Amanda
Cyborg.
Nunes. But the thing is, here's the thing. People will say that it's bad for business to put a Valentina versus Nunes fight out there because you're gonna lose one of your champions.
No, I mean,
But it's also bad for business to keep putting these champions against fucking tomato cans. And I'm not saying that Juliana Pena is a can, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, true, yeah.
in Amanda Nunes's world, she's a can.
I mean, just look at Pena's record recently.
Right.
She keeps losing and winning. You know, it's not
It's just
crazy.
bad for business. I understand where people say, "Yeah, you don't want to put champion versus champion because that locks up 2 divisions." If, what if Valentina was to beat Amanda Nunes? She's not going to defend both titles. How the fuck do you know? Man, people don't know. Like she walks around 145. So Valentina Shevchenko could comfortably defend her 125 title and then 2 months later easily defend a 135 title. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
that caliber of fighter and that caliber of athlete to where she could do that.
And it's crazy when you think about it, how long the Shevchenko brothers are fighting. They fought up to like 2005, something like that.
Who's that?
The Shevchenko sisters.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah.
since 15 years they're fighting MMA, like something like more. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. They're
Valen
not like young and stuff.
I honestly think Valentina Shevchenko is the in my opinion, I think she's the best female mixed martial artist of all time. And
For me,
I
she's the female George St. Pierre. In her
yeah,
style as well.
that is a perfect comparison to her. And like that's the perfect comparison. Like she is the GSP of the women's division. And some people might get bored with her fights or whatever, but you know what? I think she's technically the most crisp fighter out there.
Mm,
She goes in with a game plan every single time and she executes it every single time. So
yeah, yeah.
I
And her
I
technique as well, like really lot of spinning kicks to the body and stuff. Really looks like George type even sometimes. The way she wrestles on the side mount and elbows the head and crucifix and stuff like that. That's really reminiscent of that. I'm
yeah.
wondering what Nunes will be the parallel of. Well, who I mean,
What, to compare Nunes to somebody?
yeah, except for Wanderlei Silva because it's already taken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Cyborg's
Cyborg.
got yeah, okay. So if Valentina is the GSP and Cyborg is the Vandalay. Then that makes Amanda Nunes the Anderson Silva. No,
Yeah. Does
Vitor
that look like
Belfort.
Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort. Oh,
Maybe Vitor.
oh, Vitor. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
So
she
it's
doesn't have the crazy arm bars of Vitor. She's not as good
right.
on the ground.
Yeah, and Vitor was a he was a champion, but he was never like the level champion that Amanda Nunes is either. So
Yeah.
that's why I said Anderson.
It's really funny, by the way, just shortly, that Vitor Belfort is such a legend, while his career has been mixed up. Like, for me, doesn't have like a better career than Josh Barnett, for example. And
Right.
Josh Barnett is way less famous.
And he's another one that people just accept for the all the steroid. Like people hate TJ Dillashaw for EPO, but Vitor TRT Vitor comes in there and they absolutely love TR. They love TRT Tour, but they fucking when he's off the sauce, they're like, just Vitor.
Who really like to see like TRT Vitor destroying Holyfields? I'm wondering because I felt a bit bad. I must admit, like it was a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, maybe wasn't Vitor was supposed to fight Oscar De La Hoya, right?
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah,
Dana wants to see that as well.
Dude. All right. Well, hey, the main event of that. So this is where I really want to get your opinion. Charles Oliveira is about as good as it gets right now. His jiu-jitsu is insane, but he's also really sharpened his striking. He's good on his feet. He's good on the ground. He's really become one of the most rounded out fighters in the world. And he sits atop the 155-pound division. And he defends his title against who most consider is the best 155 title. I mean, 155-pound fighter in the world, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah. Today,
How do you see this fight playing out?
Oh my. That's tough. I mean, if Oliveira can hurt and knocked out Chandler, he can't do that to Poirier. If Poirier can knock out, I don't know. I don't think he did knock out Justin Gaethje, but yeah, he did. Like, he can definitely knock out Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is breakable. That's tough. On the fields, they both can neutralize themselves. I give a tiny little edge on Poirier because he's more structured, more physical maybe as well. But Oliver is longer. He's as well really accurate on the strikes, and he's really smart in striking. His ground game is better than Poirier, obviously. His wrestling, I would say Poirier got the edge, but does he really want to put Charles Oliver on his back? So
it's just like Dustin Poirier at this point in his career, dude, he hasn't. I mean, besides Khabib, he don't lose. He just fucking doesn't lose.
Yeah.
And he's beat the Showtime Pettis, Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, Max Holloway, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor twice, Jim Miller, Bobby Green. Like, he has Eddie Alvarez. He's fucking beat the best of the best. The only one that it's Khabib. I mean, it's most say he's the GOAT. Now that Nurmagomedov is into retirement, Dustin Poirier is about as unstoppable at 155 as there gets.
Yeah, as it gets, because it's so slender, this division. Everything is so close. When you look, Benel Dariush, Islam Makhachev, two guys that can beat Poirier on paper. He's fighting Oliveira, another monster. There's still other guys on the way that are up and coming, that are monsters. So yeah, I will go for Oliveira, but
you're gonna say Oliveira?
I don't know. Because Oliveira is on a crazy winning streak as well. He seems unstoppable as well in his last fight. He toyed with Tony Ferguson like nothing.
The beating of Tony Ferguson was one of the worst like ever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is like Tony Ferguson just didn't even look like he was in the same league as Charles Oliveira in that fight. And unfortunately for everybody, like that's a couple fights in a row now like that for Tony. So,
Mm.
you know,
Who's he fighting next? Can't
I don't
remember.
know, like who's I don't think he has a fight lined up, but
Oh,
I honestly would love for him to be Connor's return fight.
yeah, yeah.
I think
I'd like Connor to have a tune-up fight, something a bit in the middle.
would you call that a tune-up fight?
No, I wouldn't. It will be tough for Connor, even if Tony is not maybe not the same that he used to be. I don't know, but
Do you do you think that Tony Ferguson he I don't remember the Justin Gaethje fight, but I don't remember him winning a round in that fight. So, I think Tony Ferguson is 0 for his last 15 rounds in MMA. He has
crazy after being so dominant.
you know what I mean?
MMA is crazy.
It's unbelievable. He has lost 15 straight rounds, 2 of them being just absolute beaten fucking unanimous decisions between Dariush and, Oliveira,
Mm.
but then Justin Gaethje knocked him out in the 5th after beating the shit out of him for 4 straight rounds. He knocked him out in the 5th, so it's like 15
It's
straight
true, but
rounds.
yeah, look at who he fought. Like three of the biggest killers in the division. Three of my favorite, especially Dariush and Oliveira for being champion. It's been a few years. I'm saying that Oliveira and Dariush are the two, for me, dark horses of the division.
Do
The
you
real
think
dark horses.
do you think that Dariush beats Islam Makhachev?
Oh, he got chances. How can people like say
I
that he is gonna get mauled and he's like 400 underdog or something? That's so silly.
Oh man, I would love to see what the Vegas odds are on Dariush and Islam because I would put I'd put some money on Dariush for sure.
Oh me. Oh yeah.
I think he's so damn good. He's and his ground game is the one that I think can can last with Islam.
Oh, you can neutralize him. He's an ADCC not champion. Is he champion or ADCC? Or is he just like did he compete in the ADCC? I can't remember if he won it or not. But he's like that level of grappler. Like he's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but
And he got better hands and better power than Islam.
I think so
Definitely,
too.
100%.
Oh yeah, he's got really nice knockout power too. So I don't know if that maybe maybe do you know did they book that one yet? Is
Oh
it
yeah, I know that. I saw that. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I
so
saw that the first odds were like plus 400 underdog for Dariush or something like that.
when are they supposed to fight? Do you know?
Can't remember. Can't remember, but
That's one you got to
well.
put down on your calendar, man, because
Oh yeah,
I'm super interested in that one. I think Dariush is great. And
it's a big step up of competition for Islam.
says right here, February 26, 2022, UFC Fight Night 203, Islam Makhachev versus Benil Dariush.
Everything's
So it's going to be on a fight night.
nobody's injured.
They're going to be yeah, hopefully no one gets injured. He's going to man, that's going to be a good fight. I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm rooting for Iron Power. Like this guy, I love him.
Yeah.
I just love Dariush.
And yeah, nothing against Islam Makhachev, but I've been a
Yeah,
fan of Benil Dariush longer. So I would love to see him get himself into a title fight. And unfortunately, that goes through Islam. So
he's a bit the Glover Teixeira of no, but not younger, obviously, and less tedious with the striking because Glover is a bit wild to say the least.
Glover, yeah, man. I'm so
But
happy for that
I'm
guy.
so happy for Glover. I'm sad for Blachowicz, honestly, because I like the guy. He's a great fighter as well. But that was feel good moment. The Brazilian Randy Couture.
And the Brazilian Randy Couture. He was wasn't or he was Iceman. He was Chuck Liddell's training partner back in the day.
Yes, he was supposed
Glover
to fight
was.
like in 2002, 3,
Yeah.
something like that. Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy. I
there was
love
a someone did a picture of Glover from like 2002 when he was
it.
training with
With Dana and Chuck.
and it was like a side by side of him now and him then. And
Yeah,
other than a little bit of age in his face, man, that dude is in phenomenal shape at
he's got the
40.
body.
Yeah,
He's
whatever he is,
bigger, but he's got
42,
the body.
43 years old right now, holding
He's
the title.
42, 43, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Fucking good for Glover, man. But hey, we wanted to do a thing for you guys that are watching and for anybody that's tuning into this show afterwards. We want to spotlight some old school fighters, and I'm going to spotlight one that was on the Triad Combat Sports event the other night. And the reason why I want to do mine is because I don't want people to remember Frank Mir now. I want people to remember Frank Mir for what Frank Mir was, because that dude was one of the best, could have been the best heavyweight of all time. If he didn't get in his motorcycle accident at 24 years old and cut him down in his prime, I don't even know if he had reached his prime yet. That's the thing. He was a title holder at 24 years old, and he gets in this bad motorcycle accident. And I don't remember the list of his injuries. I know he broke his femur. I know he separated his hip, and I thought he did something else, but it fucked him up pretty good. And we never knew if Frank was ever going to get back to what he was. But Frank Mir came back. He fucking They threw him in there with Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar was coming from the world of pro wrestling, and he's this monster guy that cuts from 300 pounds down to 265, and he's supposed to be the next big thing in MMA. And what's Frank do? He knee bars his ass and fucking submits. You know what I mean? It's like
Tiny
he
bit controversial, nevertheless, because Steve Mazzagatti stand them up for controversial reasons. And
right. But he also has like amazing. I'm gonna try to pull up his record right now. I should have been more prepared for this, but Frank has like a knockout on Big Nog. He broke Big Nog's arm in a freaking Kimura.
the first guy
He
to finish him by strikes and submission.
strikes and submissions on Nogueira. You got wins over Tim Sylvia. You got the Brock Lesnar fight. One fight I remember that sticks out in my mind. And it was later on. I mean, he knocked out Mirko Krokop with a knee, but there was a fight after he had elbowed and knocked out Bigfoot Silva. They threw him in there with this up and coming heavyweight called Todd Duffy. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, Todd Duffy. Yeah,
Todd
he was
Duffy.
supposed to be a destroyer of world.
Yes, he was. He was this big, jacked up, young
Big
heavy
jacked. Sorry.
dude. I was at this. I was on duty. I was doing some mission. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't anything big. I was like leading some transportation mission for OCS or something like that, some military thing. So I'm in my room, and it was a fight night, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Fuck, man!" They're throwing Frank in there with this young guy who's gonna fucking knock him out, and he just came off of 4 straight losses, and then beat Bigfoot Silva, and now and now, now he's getting thrown in there with this kid, Todd Duffy. Dude, he fucking folded Todd Duffy in half. Like when he knocked him out, I saved a picture of it. Here's a picture. Now, this is not the best picture of Frank. He's looking kind of doughy, but you
It's
know
reboot
what,
time, so it's recent enough.
dude? He fucking demolished that kid. Like it was unbelievable, and I was so happy. I was in my room. I just remember being in my room like jumping up and down for this because I really thought that they were feeding him to this young kid. But here's a few pictures of Frank. Guys, go back and watch
Oh
young
my,
go
that's
back
no
and
real armor.
snapping
Oh
the arm
my
of Nogueira.
god. Oh my gosh.
You got
Such a brilliant practitioner. And that's why I was a bit sad to see him in boxing. Because man, look at the guy. His dominant positions, most of them are in the ground. If he wins on the feet, it's because he mixes it up with Muay Thai clinch, knees into the face, stuff like that.
yeah,
Boxing is not his world.
It's not his world. That's why I really don't like seeing him in these new and like
Oh
he's
my gosh.
look at that knee bar on Brock. So that's my spotlight fighter right there. You guys wanna check out a freaking absolute legend. Go look at his catalog, man. Frank Mir, he's not the guy that has now lost 10 of his last 13 fights. He shouldn't be remembered like that. He shouldn't be remembered as a fucking bobblehead with his eyes rolling back in his head, getting fucking demolished by a heavyweight boxer he should have never been in there with. Frank Mir, just some of his accolades real quick, and then I'll let you do yours. He was a, you know,
Absolutely.
UFC heavyweight champion, interim heavyweight champion, submission of the night twice, performance of the night twice, second most wins in the UFC heavyweight division with 16. Second most fights in UFC heavyweight division history with 27. Most finishes in UFC heavyweight division 13. The dude is a fucking monster. He has 8 submissions in the UFC. He's got the fastest submission in UFC history and for the heavyweight division, 45 seconds. It's just like I could keep going and keep going and going and going. Submission of the year in 2011, comeback of the year 2011. Defeated 3 different champions, fought for the title 5 times. That dude's a legend. He's not that bobble-headed zombie that you saw on Saturday night in the Triad fucking triangle. Frank Mir.
Yeah, like to add a little thing about that, if you want to understand how big was Frank Mir at the time, you got to look at his UFC fights chronologically and look when he was young, when he arrived, how fast he was submitting guys, how easy it was. Like this guy was really, really gifted. Some people suggest that he was better than Fedor at this time, and he was the best in the world. And I kind of agree. Sometimes when I watch the footage, I'm like, yeah, this guy was freaking dangerous, smart, strong, and technical, and quick. Everything you need to be a champ for a long time.
And he's still teaching right now, dude. He's teaching at Syndicate MMA right now. But like just look at his list of defeats. He beat Tank Abbott. That's how long ago this motherfucker was fighting. He beat Tank Abbott at UFC 41, Wes Sims twice, Tim Sylvia, Brock, you got Brock Lesnar, Big Nog, Czech Congo, Mirko Krokop, Roy Nelson, Big Nog again, Bigfoot Silva, Todd Duffy. He's got a list of names that he absolutely put to school. And my spotlight fighter is Frank Mir.
That's a great choice.
All right. And now
All
you
right.
go ahead there, Leo.
Okay, mine is older. Is
Older.
older. Is golden age MMA, but I chose him because he's a guy that had all the elements of a modern fighter, and I think still today that he would have been fairly competitive in the UFC. Not say that he would have been breaking the top 15, but fairly competitive nevertheless. So I'm talking about Guy Mezger. Guy
Guy
Mezger.
Messer. Yeah,
I
hell
love
yeah,
Guy
man.
Mezger.
If that's a forgotten name by many, but tell us a little bit why you want to spotlight Guy Messer.
I want to spotlight him because this guy is, as you say, the forgotten fighter. That's maybe the best member of the Alliance. Then with, of course, the brothers Shamrock, Vernon White, and of course Guy Masgard, which is even a level above, I think, of Vernon White. This guy was a true world beater when he was in his prime. So I did a bit differently my expose. Um, I go a bit chronologically. He's starting wrestling in high school. That got a 7th degree in Taekwondo in the meanwhile. And when he went out of high school, he transitioned to kickboxing. And he was really proficient there, earning a 22 victory record and 3 defeats, 19 by KO. So the guy is a legit kickboxer. Anyway, if you look at his fighting skills from early on to even later, you can see a very good striker. And I go back on it later. He becomes on kickboxing the WKC world champ in 1995. He was as well on parallel before that a full contact karate career, and he would have like a record of 42-1, 40 kills. He will be
Jesus.
the US champion in full contact karate. at his weight. And that's after that he does his transition to UFC, to the UFC 4 and 5 as an alternate. He got his two first fights there, 2 wins, but that doesn't get selected to the as an alternate. You fight, you're in reserve. If nobody's hurt, you just stay on the bench basically. He meets Ken Shamrock, starts training with the Lions Den. At the time, the Lions Den were the guys. It was not the Black Zillions, aka American Top Team. It was Lions Den. It was the first one, the original, and the best in the world. Cross training, a bit crazy sometimes, beating the shit out of the kids for a few hours, doing like 500 push-up, and then having a 10-round sparring of boxing and crazy stuff like that. So the guy goes to Pancrase, gets 16-7-2, and he will get under his hat the honor of being a king of Pancrase when it still meant something.
Yeah, that's right.
And who did he beat? He beat Funaki, Masakatsu Funaki, which is one of the two Japanese legends with Minoru Suzuki. So if you're interested into Pancrase, you can see here the image. Guy, really cool belt. I love the Pancrase, King of Pancrase belt. It's really, really badass.
Yeah, big ass trophy too.
Yeah, so Pancrase, for the ones that don't know, is basically the same for a lot of rules than UFC at the time, except for open hand strikes and padded knee guards and shin guards.
When people think Pancrase, they think Bass Rutten and they think Ken Shamrock, but also
Bass Rutten got a little part in this story as well.
Yep.
Not Ken Shamrock because he wouldn't fight his teammate. So they would avoid themselves, a bit like Frank as well. Lions Den guys were really close. That's something you can actually enjoy about them. They ended up getting a bit, how to say, under the radar after a while because they stopped training with new people and just kept the same old. But anyway, in his palmarès during Pancrase times, you have Manabu Yamada, Minoru Suzuki, Ryushin Yanagisawa, all big veterans from Pancrase. So the ones familiar with early MMA will recognize them. All those guys have 60 fights, fought everybody at the time, most of the time fought in Pride as well. You got Yuki Kondo, of course, one of the greatest Japanese strikers at the time. The Dutchman Semi Shield, that is kind of forgotten as well today, but was a freaking terrifying striker that was like 2 meters 20 or 2 meters 10, something like that. A monster. The only guys he will lose to, will be like, of course, Suzuki, further mentioned, Shields, Funaki, Kondo, because you will go easily in circle in Pancrase and fight 3-4 times the same guys. You had fights quite often. You will get less injured as well because there are no open hand to the, no close fist to the face. You can go close to the body. And of course, he lost to Bass. Yeah, I mean, but who didn't at the time?
Yeah, everyone did.
Except Ken Shamrock.
Yeah,
I think he's the only one that beats Bass twice and didn't lose to him or something like that. Anyway, that's it for Pancrase times. But during that Pancrase career up to 1999, something like that, he will have few UFC apparitions, and one of them is really important. It's the UFC 13 in 1997. He will defeat, first of all, Christophe Le Ninja, Olympic alternate, an actually underestimated fighter as well, and a guy that I really like because he was a real tough guy, like a real Olympic judo guy that came straight to MMA and had the balls to go and throw down with guys while not being a striker at all. He beats Le Ninja to an actual difficult decision and then submits Cesar Ortiz after a losing fight, I would say. Like, he was getting smashed, to be fair. He gets him in a guillotine and submits Tito. I think I got the picture there.
Yeah.
It's the picture where he's carried out. He's carried by all those guys
Yeah, this is
from the
it's
Lions Den,
right here, yeah.
and yeah, you can see the feel good moment after like a while of beating. In the last seconds, he's submitting, and yeah.
He beats the bad boy, yeah, and the bad boy, Mr. Class, as
And
Connor.
that's a legit victory. That's a legit victory. He got him good.
Fuck yeah, man! And at the time, Tito Ortiz was all the hype. He was
Yeah.
look at him.
And that's
He wore a shirt that said "Gay Metzger is my bitch." And like nowadays, you wear
okay.
something like that, you get smacked down by the media for something
Yeah,
like that.
I know that. I don't know. I find that funny, highly funny, actually. Tito was a goofball.
He is a goofball.
So that's that picture you just saw is UFC 1999. It's the revenge of Tito. He kills Guy Mesger, and the T-shirt you saw starts a feud that will be really important in the future of UFC with Ken Shamrock. And you can see as well, I sent you a picture where you can see Tito trolling Ken Shamrock. And
Yeah,
Ken
right there, dude.
absolutely red pissed off,
Yeah,
pointing with the finger.
yeah, Tito versus the Lions Den for sure, man. They all had a huge beef going back
Mm,
then.
that was amazing. I love early MMA. That's so funny. And
Yeah.
Ken is so righteous and about respect and stuff that he couldn't stand that. And just after that pictures is taken, John McAtee takes Tito and just throws him away.
So
Anyway, so that starts the feud with the famous Tito Ortiz Ken Shamrock fight that will come years later, and that will bring a lot of cash to the UFC, and that will be really good for the business. But that will be it for the UFC and Mesger together. Their story ends up here, and he will have quite a nice adventure
through
in
Pride.
Pride for 3 years. So 3 years, but a lot of fights. That's something to
You know,
remember about him.
he fought a lot of big names too.
Oh,
Guy
in
did.
Pride he did, and
Yeah,
in
in
Pride
Pride.
he will be in his prime.
Yeah.
That's if you want to look nice Guy Mesger fights, modern Guy Mesger fights, and the reason why I chose him as well is the Pride fights. First of all, he loses twice in a row. First to Akira Shoji, which is a really controversial decision, and Kazushi Sakuraba, which is a really weird story. I can't remember why, but there was a trouble with the way the referees were treating the fight, which was really biased towards Sakuraba because Japanese were helping their fighters a lot. And so Ken Shamrock told Guy Mesger to go back to his group, and in the middle of the break, the second round. So he just basically lost by disqualification for leading because Ken Shamrock asked him to. That's a crazy story. It's just like Pride is crazy. I love Pride.
Yeah,
Then he got
they what is Chael Sonnen says 90% of Pride doesn't count.
yeah,
But that's just Chael talking. That's
that's
Chael talking right there.
that's a bunch of BS. Yeah, like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
10% of maybe 15% of Pride is fake. Yeah, 10, 15. It's still a lot, but
Yeah.
you will have 10, 15% of the fights. But anyway, he finally gets his first win again in a good kickboxing match that you can watch as well. That is really interesting against Masaki Sataki, which was one of the best K1 kickboxer from Japan at the time. Then it's his war with Wanderlei Silva. I got the picture. I sent you. He gets KO'd, but man, this is a war, and he gives it to Wanderlei. He hurts him a couple of times. It's really close. You can see all the skills of Guy on the field, but the wildness of Silva, which was unstoppable at the time, takes it, and he ends up getting crossed and gets knocked out cold, something like that.
This is Wanderlei in his like heyday too. Like Wanderlei was a goddamn world beater, as you said earlier. Like to use a term you used, he was a world beater. He fucking nobody could beat Wanderlei at that time. Like
yeah, absolutely.
like you're
And,
going into a
and
buzzsaw.
he gave one of the best fights to Vanderlei of Pride, of the Pride days. Like that's true. Like Guy Mays is totally forgotten for that as well, and it's crazy because that was a big feat on his record, even if he lost, I think.
And let's also remember that 90% of the Pride roster was juiced out of their fucking minds too. Like those guys were a bunch of straight up video game monsters back then. You know what I mean?
They actually proposed the fighters to take steroids,
Right.
which
They
is
were
kind of crazy.
just all freaking warriors.
Just to finish out quickly with his career. Sorry, by the way, if it's a bit too long.
No, man. People are liking this. And
Okay, all right.
yeah, comments are they're impressed with your memory. And Susan says, "Wow, Leo was good at this."
I took some notes as well. I'm cheating. for some fights, I
But
need
still, dude, of all my friends, you are like probably the most like historian when it comes to MMA. Like you did what I started to do. Like I had seen them all. I had seen most UFC events throughout my years. I'm a bit older than you right now, but when I was deployed, I started at UFC 1 and started watching them, and I made it to about 12 or 14, and then I just kind of like fell off the track. You know what I mean? I couldn't keep
Yeah,
up. Couldn't keep up.
I'm mad with that because I restarted. I was watching UFC in the order, and I restarted when I went to 2012, something like that. I stopped and I said like, yeah, I'm watching UFC, but what about the rest? So I started back again.
So when
Doing
you started at UFC
everything.
1, when you started at UFC 1 and watched them through, what number did you make it up to?
I can't remember, once 100 something.
That's
Plus the Ultimate Fighter,
that's amazing, dude. No, I'm sorry, we're getting off track here. Finish out
Yeah, sorry,
finish
sorry.
out the guy, man.
So the guy.
Yeah.
Guy is my B. No. That was not nice by Tito because Guy seems like a really, really nice guy. Sorry. So after his war with Silva, he gets 2 more wins, which are actually mildly recognizable names. Alexander Otska, Russian origin, Japanese guy, something like that, I think, and Egan Inoue, which is actually one of the Inoue brothers, and they were 2 legit fighters from Hawaii. And then after those 2 victories that are quite under the radar, you got the Chuck Liddell fight. It was the first Chuck Liddell fight when Dana tried his little Pride UFC, and never did that again ever.
After that, they just bought Pride.
Yeah, they wrecked it.
Yeah.
They bought it, wrecked it, and did bullshit with all the fighters they had under the roster. So you have the Chuck Liddell fight. It was a tune-up fight before the tournament that Chuck Liddell did when he beat Alistair Overeem and then gets KO'd by Rampage Jackson. But this fight with Guy is actually really competitive for the first round. Guy hurt Chuck a few times. It's a really competitive fight. I advise you a lot as well. This fight is great. And on the early second round, he gets knocked out cold by Chuck. A really nasty right, I think, from what I remember. And his leg went like back and stuff, and he's like all like, doll without strings. And
a doll without strings. Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it. Just crumbled.
Yeah, it's just. That was a nasty knockout, and that might have an effect on what will happen later on. But before that, I just finish up with his mixed martial art career. He then loses closely to Ricardo Arona.
Yeah.
And guys, Ricardo Arona at the time was an insane killer, juiced to top toes to the hair. He was better than Belfort. He was the guy. Like Ricardo Arona was a beast, unstoppable, and he still got a split decision loss out of Ricardo Arona, which is really, really, really impressive. I think Guy was getting to his prime, and what will happen after is a bit sad. He gets 2 more wins minor wins other organizations, and then gets a really really sharp close decision to Little Nog. He knew, I think he beat Little Nog in this fight. Actually, it's a split decision, but it's
And they gave
considered
it
a
to
big
Nog, yeah.
loss. A lot of people think he beat Little Nog at a time where it was crazy. And then he was supposed to fight in the UFC again. He was supposed to fight Tito Ortiz, and that's one of the fights. When I learned about it, I wished I would be able to see it. Like I was like, oh my, that's so sad. Like that didn't
Why
happen.
did it fall through?
He got stroke. Like at least he
Good.
got stroke-like symptoms, and
Damn,
that's
man.
crazy. He was 30 something, and yeah, he had stroke-like symptoms and never found since in anything.
You know, we're gonna have to do one of these spotlights on one of the guys you just mentioned because Ricardo
Arona, yeah.
Arona, if you look his friggin' record up, that guy has like one of the most impressive records you'll ever see. He don't have a shit ton of fights. He only has 19 fights. But dude, he beat Jeremy Horn twice, Guy Metzger, uh, Dan Henderson, um, Dean Litter, Sakuraba, Vanderlei Silva, Alistair Overeem, Marvin Eastman. It's like,
Yeah. Even Marvin Eastman, another forgotten fighter that was crazy good. One of the best fight ever in King of the Cage was Marvin Eastman versus Rampage Jackson. Really close fight,
right.
and I
It's
think
just like
Eastman won.
it's just like some of these guys, some of these pride fighters that people forget about. Like we could definitely do like a whole show on pride
I would love that. I
and
would love
blow
that. Yeah,
people's fucking minds because
yeah. People don't realize some crazy fighters that have gone totally forgotten. I mentioned Vernon White, one of the most merit guy in the business that started off with having a lot of losses, and then started to become King of the Cage champion, defending his belt, fighting Chuck Liddell, and being competitive. I mean, I'll definitely do one about Vernon Tiger White because it's one of my favorite fighters ever. Um, yeah, just straight up.
yeah, he's one of those guys that looking at his record doesn't really like
100%.
doesn't do the fighter any justice. You know what I
He
mean?
got,
Because
he got as much defeat as victory, or maybe more defeats.
he's got more defeats than victories, but like he fought legit fucking killers all the time. He started off his career like 1-9 or something like that, but he
Yeah.
fought a
He
bunch of
lost
fucking
everything in a
beasts.
row. That was, and he
And then
was
like
super skinny at the time.
yeah, and then like you said, he went on a run where he won like 10 of the next 12 or something like that and was beating everybody up. Got his record to almost fucking 500 and then lost a few more to end out his career like all these guys do. But I'll tell you right now, man, that is a badass fucking breakdown of Guy Mesger. And for
Oh,
those
thanks,
who
man.
don't, what's that?
I say thanks, man.
No,
But
I love it.
I actually, just to put a final point about that, because I like to talk about what they became. Guy actually, he did a lot of commentating. Was involved in the organization, the one with Chuck Norris, notably Full Contact organization with Chuck Norris.
Yeah. The fuck, what was it?
I got his
Combat the
World
C
Combat League.
World Combat League. That
Yeah,
WBC.
he was color
No,
commentator for them.
WCL. That's what it was. World Combat League. Yeah, that actually the World Combat League came to the casino right down the road from my house. About
Oh, right.
20 minutes from my house back in the day, and I actually got to see one of those things. It's very cool. I didn't get to meet Chuck Norris though, so I was disappointed.
Oh, yeah. And I think he gets a PhD in something in biological medicine, something like that, and he's making a lot of money.
Good for him, man.
Basically, and that's good for him. Right. Keep it on, guy. You're great. And um, oh, he had a fight. That's true. I mentioned that as an anecdote about him. He had a fight in altercation in 2011. So he went to a little shop, something, and there's a guy menacing a lady with his knife. and guy takes opposite himself to the altercation. The guy sliced his finger, not completely, but he sliced him a nice bit. And the guy, the dude that sliced his finger, got to the hospital with multiple facial bone and arm fracture to the face and to the arm.
So guy smashed him up.
He fucked him up.
That's funny, man. That's funny. He's only 53 years old now, man.
Yeah, you
So
got the picture on the that I showed you when he's older, and
this one here. Okay.
yeah, it's like a few years ago, but you can see like he didn't age that much. He's still looking good.
Yeah. He aged well. He's 53, and you said he got his PhD in some sort of medicine or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
it's something where I think they're doing some kind of biocells stuff and really high new technologies.
That's awesome.
From what I heard, like, and that's good.
You know what? That means he probably got out of the sport at the right time. Unlike, you know what I mean? I don't want to shit on other guys that were from his era, but like Chuck Liddell nowadays, if you ever hear like an interview with him, you can tell that he took a few too many fights. He should have hung it up early.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? And you could see the damage in some of the speech of some of these guys. And for this dude,
it's not only the fights. I reckon it's as well the magical powder.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
it's a lot of damage to him.
Yeah. It's good to see a guy like that succeeding after being such a successful athlete in the sport, though. As
yeah,
well,
absolutely, you know? Absolutely. Guy Mesger, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. It's amazing. It's one of the few. I'm gonna probably do again Lions Den fighters. There's other ones, Strategic Man, for example, I would definitely talk about. This guy's crazy story as well.
If you were going to tell people that are watching this, one or two fights to go back and watch from Guy, which two fights would you say go back and watch these two?
Two fights. I don't know. Like for me, already you have 3 fights to watch to Pride. Wanderlei, even if it's a defeat. Chuck, even if it's a defeat, and you can choose Sakuraba or Nogueira, because the Sakuraba fight is great as well, and I think he wins it, and he beats Sakuraba when he was beating everybody. For the UFC, watch the Tito fights.
Yeah, watch the
cool.
2 Tito fights.
They're
for
cool.
Sure.
And if you want to watch a Pancrase fight, just one. If you don't really like Pancrase, watch the one where he gets his belt. I can't remember which one it is exactly, but it's when he's fighting Masakatsu Funaki. So you check on YouTube, on Wikipedia or Tapology, his record. You check the Masakatsu Funaki victory. That's the one when he gets the King of Pancrase belt.
Awesome stuff, Leo. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love it, man. It was good to catch up with you again.
Absolutely, brother.
Before you go, before we wrap this thing up, I'm gonna throw up the 3 next events, and you're gonna give me your final prediction for the next 3.
For the mains?
The next 3 main events, starting with this one right here, Aldo Font. What you got?
Aldo.
Decision? Aldo. You think it's gonna be a finish or a decision?
I'm getting for finished. I don't know. Something.
I like the poster too. That's a cool poster they got.
It's a great poster.
That's a great poster. Font Aldo on my birthday, December 4th. Take a look at that one. The following week after that, December 11th, you got the big pay-per-view, but the main event was okay. Co-main. Give me your co-main.
Peña! No, never. If it happens, I'll do something. I don't know. I guess I'm happy if it happens, but no, Nunes.
Nunes by KO.
Oliveira.
By Oliveira by
submission.
By
triangle choke in the 3rd round.
3rd round submission by freaking Dubronx. Oh my god! And then the final one, you got freaking Derek Lewis and Chris Daukaus in the main event and the final event of the year for for the UFC, December 18th, in
Yeah.
their final event of 2022. There's
Let's get first the co-main: Wonderboy versus Bilal Muhammad.
okay.
Wonderboy.
Wonder Boy over Bilal Muhammad.
Wonderboy via. It could be a decision. It's a 3-1, so it could be a decision. I think it will be maybe. Or if it's a KO, it's on Wonderboy side. I don't see any submissions there. For the main, it can be really boring as it can be a great fight, but I don't think so. And Daukaus is one of the most underrated fighter in the heavyweight division right now. I think he can finish Luis. He got good chances. I'm really wanting to pick him for the win by TKO. But I think Derek Lewis will win anyway. But
yeah, you know what? You know what fight is gonna be quite possibly the fight of the night on that card is Cub and the Damage Darren Elkins.
Oh my god! And you're taking me by the feeling saying that because it's a veteran fight, like,
yeah,
and it's not a slaughter. It's not like you take Cub Swanson and put him against a newcomer that is like coming from Dagestan.
nah.
And it's gonna fuck him up.
It's two guys that love violence. Darren Elkins bleeds like a stuck pig every time he goes out there. So there you go. Leo says Jose Aldo by submission by a finish.
By finish.
You got
I guess TKO. That's it.
Amanda Nunes by knockout, Charles Oliveira by submission, and Chris Dawkins by TKO. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, you know what? I keep with Dawkins. Yeah. I keep with him because I think he's really underrated.
Yeah,
and I like him. He's a good guy. He's a cop and stuff. Like he's yeah.
All right, my man. Thanks for coming by. Live with Leo, guys. I have every other Monday off. Me and Leo might start doing these more often. We're going to start spotlighting old school fighters and talking about current events. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will talk to you soon. What do you say?
See you guys. Talk to you soon. And next time, you're probably gonna present Lion's Den again.
So there you go. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good day.
See you guys.